G'day, Westy here. Okay, today we're working on a Nokia Lumia 900 phone. This one's got really bad cracked screen area, which I'll show you down here. It's been really beaten up. It's got cracks all the way through the screen. And it's really bad up on the top area as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to replace it and put a brand new digitiser assembly in. Okay, so first things first, power down the phone. Once that's powered down, get a little prodding tool, or you can use the proper SIM card removal tool, and then tip it on its end, and you can see the little hole in here, and just push it down and remove the SIM card assembly. Okay, now in the bottom corner in here, right in here, you'll see a little piece of plastic there, so you just flick that out. Put that aside, and there is a little pin here, a little lock pin. I don't know if you can see it in there. There's a little lock pin, and basically you pull that out, and that once you pull that out, it slides up. Everybody tells you it's going to be easy to get this pin out, but man, it is a pain in the butt. I've pretty much munted at getting it out, but I managed to get it in the end. It does have a hole in it, but it's very, very difficult to get to. And it's just like, you know, this whole thing is jammed. It's ridiculous. Okay, so you can pull that pin out now and put that down, and then we'll get into the next bit. We've got the pin out of here. We can get your pry tool or a sucker, but I'm just going to use a pry tool, and you can just get it down the edge of the screen and just lift it up. And just stick your finger under it, and then it'll open out a little bit. Now we need to get the screen and lift it out from the side at the bottom here, where my finger's tapping. Kind of just slightly remove it so it slides off the case, and then you can tilt it back behind the unit like so. So don't try and pry it up from the edge like that, because you'll break it. So just lift it out at the bottom like so, just a little bit up, and then slide it back and sit it down like so, and just put a screwdriver or something underneath it to help it there. So now we're going to undo these three screws here, that one there, that one there, and this one down here. Tip, just raise the, I've got a couple of little glass coasters, just to raise the base up so that the back can just sit back a little bit, so you're not actually having to hold your hands on it. What we're going to do is we're going to remove the 7 T4 torque headed screws. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Tip while we're on the ideas, I've got a little magnetised, demagnetised tool here for magnetising your screwdrivers and Torx drivers. So you just basically run it in and out with the magnetised size a few times, and we'll just try it on a screw, and as you can see it picks up the screws quite nicely. So it's a little trick, it'll save you having to chase the screws around. This next part you're going to need, I've got a laser temperature sensor that I use and a variable powered heat gun. Now what we want to do is along this section here, right along there, there's a piece of adhesive tape that holds this case to the battery. So what we want to do is heat that up to about 70 degrees Celsius. So this is going to be a bit tricky to do with the camera in the way, but I've got my scanner and that's showing 17 degrees. We'll just turn it on and we'll just wait for this to heat up. Get it cranked right up. Right, so that's poking out a bit of heat now, so I'm just going to about 55 degrees. Now that's about 65 degrees there. Oh, cools down pretty quick though. Right, so what we're going to do now is get our plastic tool here and try and get it in the bottom here. And gently pry away at getting that in underneath that and get that separating that case. It's going to take a little bit of time. So we've just got to work along. And basically work away at it to get it up. It does take a little bit of prying to get it, because you've got to tear the double-sided. So I'll work away at that and we'll see how we go. Heated this up, what you want to do is basically pry on this side a little bit, just get it up there enough with your fingers, and then wedge it if you have to, and get a plastic knife. I've found the easiest thing to do, and then come right in under here, and then you've got to use brute force really to tear away the batteries from the case. And it's because it's got this sticky, very sticky tape on the back of it, and that will come out. In this case I've actually pulled my battery connector out of the board, so that's fine, I'll put that back in. Right, so now we've got that apart. As you can see, there's two ribbons on this digitiser here. So what we've got to do is just carefully disconnect the two of those. So there's one there, and there's one, just hold your digitiser, and there's one just here. And then the actual digitiser and everything will come away from the chassis with the broken screen on it. Okay, so then position your new digitiser into position, into the same vicinity, and then we're going to do the reverse. We're going to get this one here and open out this ribbon, and open out this ribbon here. Careful not to pull on them or pry on them. And then we're just going to lean it over, line up your connections. It's kind of like a Lego set. Set your screen in the background, and you've got to just take a little bit of time to wiggle it into position and then make the connection. There's one. It's just like putting a little Lego set together, really. You'll feel it meet on the connection. You might have to muck around with it for a little bit, like I am here on this one. And you'll feel it click, and then just press it in. And just connect them in firm, not press them so that they go through the planet. And then I'm reconnecting my battery one here, which if you don't do that, you won't power up. So once you've got that in, like so, just recheck it. Check your connections, and then all you need to do now is basically turn this, give it a bit of a blowout, and then put your case back in, the battery retaining case, which is your locking case for the and it's got a slot down. There's actually some slots. I'll just carefully lift this up and show you. There's actually some slots in the plastic chassis on the case there. I don't know if you can see those, but that's where everything locks in on the actual, this little case here. Okay, so this flips over here like so, and it lines up with the little slots on the case, and it actually physically slides in. You'll see it. See how it's got a lip on the bottom of here on each one of those three tangs. You'll see it slip in when you've got it like that, and then just once that's done, you can pivot it down and then carefully line it back up into position. Be careful not to crush anything. Make sure your connections haven't come out of your screen. Okay, so now we pretty much do the reverse. So just give it a bit of a nurse around and see, make sure everything lines up. So with your T4, start inserting your screws again. Beginning. Okay, now reverse this process here, slide it back over like so, and then tip it on its edge like that, and then angle it in like so, and it sits into the slot. Make sure it sits in properly, otherwise it won't be working. So you don't want to be wrenching on it because it won't work otherwise. So you just got to get that lined up properly and sitting in there perfectly, otherwise it's going to pivot up and snap the hinges off it. Okay, once you've got the screen in place, slide your pin back in, and push that down. This one's pretty munted. It was a pain to get out, I'll tell you that much. Okay, and then your SIM card can go in. Then you can take the little protective cover off the screen itself, like so. And then try turning it on, holding the center button. You got your 1 button, 2 button, 3 and your volumes, so just hold that down for 3 seconds. Let's test it to see if it works. There you go.